Hello everyone, welcome to the NIPER multiple choice question series 3. In this series, I am going to explain questions from the previous NIPER paper related to subjects like biochemistry, physiology, microbiology. Though these subjects seems a smaller proportion one, but they have significant amount of questions in the previous examination. So please follow the video. This is my YouTube channel wherein you can find all videos related to pharma, GPAT, NIPER and COVID. Do subscribe and share the videos if you like the contents. Let's get into the topic. Now, first one, mitochondria. See, some of the options are given and you need to find out which is relevant to this mitochondria. Utilize Calvin-Benson cycle. What do you mean by this cycle? This cycle is related to photosynthesis. And we all know photosynthesis is a process in which plants make carbohydrates. And this photosynthesis occurs in stroma of plants. Stroma means inner space of chloroplast. So it occurs in chloroplast but not in mitochondria. So this option is not correct. Now utilize citric acid cycle. True. Citric acid cycle and oxidative phosphorylation is the one which takes place in mitochondria. Let us see the other options. Now reduce organic compounds to carbon dioxide. No, the wording itself is wrong one. Organic compounds are oxidized to carbon dioxide. And that is what is exhaled from human beings. All the fuel molecules are oxidized to give carbon dioxide and at the same time they release ATP energy. It is not reduce, it is oxidation. All the above, no. So only the answer which is correct is utilize citric acid cycle. So the option is B. Moving to the next one. Now match the following entries with group 1 that of group 2. See, all these are biochemistry tests and we need to relate group 1 to group 2. Now failing test. Failing test is a specific test to detect reducing sugars. All the glucose, fructose, all of them are reducing sugars. You have only sucrose which is non-reducing sugar. Now the next one, ninhydrin. Ninhydrin is specifically used to, that reaction is specifically used to identify presence of alpha amino acid. Now see, amino acids has got this structure R, COOH, NH2 and H. See, the carboxyl group carbon, adjacent carbon is alpha and to that amine group is attached. So they are known as alpha amino acids. So all the amino acids will give a positive test for ninhydrin test. Whereas biuret is specifically find out to give peptide linkage. This is peptide linkage which is there in proteins. Now you need to understand this. Amino acids can give a positive test with ninhydrin, but biuret, it needs a peptide linkage. That means a single amino acid cannot give a positive test. Rather, at least it should have two amino acids to have this peptide linkage. Now, nitroprusside is specifically used to find out sulfhydryl containing amino acids. Like sulfhydryl containing amino acids are methionine, cysteine, cysteine. So this is what is there. Now, most of the students will know about failing test, which is very selective for carbohydrates, that is reducing sugar. Instead of going with every option, you need to see this. You know for sure P goes with 2. So first one is not there, second one is not there, fourth one is not there. So the only the option left over is this one. So Q1, that means ninhydrin alpha amino acid, right? R4 biuret peptide linkage, S3 nitroprusside sulfhydryl. This is true. So instead of going with each and everything, if you know a particular choice for sure, you can look for that and eliminate all other things and you will get the right answer. So here it is C. Moving to the next one. Now, which of the following cell types is unlikely to be infected by viruses? So this is a very concept oriented question. Let us understand, how do virus infects? You have RNA viruses are there, DNA viruses are there. Once virus gets inside the cell it gets into nucleus. In the nucleus, using host DNA, it starts replicating. This is what virus does. So what it requires? It requires the host DNA in the nucleus. Look at them, nerve cell, red blood cell, liver cell, white blood cell. Out of all these things, red blood cells do not have what? No nucleus. No nucleus means no DNA. If not DNA is not there, virus cannot replicate there. So what happens? These cells are unlikely to be infected. Even though the virus gets into the red blood cell, it cannot replicate. So it cannot infect it. So the answer is red blood cell. Understand the concept. Moving to the next one. Normal microbiota is helpful to human as they produce which vitamin? Vitamin A, C, K, E. Out of these things, normal microbiota is useful to produce vitamin K. Vitamin K. Now let us understand this. We have two variations of vitamin K. Vitamin K1 and vitamin K2. Now, when you see the things, vitamin K1 is also known as phylloquinone. This phylloquinone is obtained from green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables. Whereas vitamin K2 is known as menaquinone. This menaquinone is what is synthesized by gut microbiota. So what is the answer? It is vitamin K. In that specifically it is vitamin K2. So this. Now moving to the next one. Now, which of the following is distinguishing test between mono and disaccharides? Now, see, all of them are related to carbohydrate chemistry. Selvinov is used to separate between ketoses and aldoses, like ketoses and aldoses. Like fructose will be giving a positive test with Selvinov, whereas aldose like glucose do not give it. Hayes test is used to identify bile pigments. Barfoed test is the one which distinguishes between monosaccharides and disaccharides. Monosaccharides will immediately give a positive test with Barfoed test, whereas disaccharides will give a very slow reaction. Hence, it is used to differentiate between mono and disaccharides. So, the answer is Barfoed test. Moving to the next one. Now, which one is the only organ capable of producing fructose in humans? See, fructose can be synthesized only in seminal vesicles. The reason is fructose is the main energy source for the sperm. So only seminal vesicles has the capability to produce fructose in human beings. This is the only organ which can produce fructose. So the option is C. Moving to the next one. Now histones, the proteins that bind to DNA are rich in which amino acid? You know, the normal DNA is like this. Now the DNA is surrounded with certain proteins known as histone proteins, and that is what gives us chromosome. Chroma means color. That chroma or color is because of histones. Now these histones, they surround this DNA and stabilize this DNA. Now what do they have is they have arginine and lysine amino acid. If you see, both of them, arginine and lysine amino acids, are basic amino acids. That means they have an extra amine group which will give a positive charge. These positively charged histones will closely associate with negatively charged DNA. Why negatively charged? It has got a phosphate group which has got negative charge. There is an association between positive and negative. That is what makes them closely assembled around DNA. So the answer is arginine. Whereas if you see the options here, methionine, cysteine, both of them are sulfur containing amino acid. Glutamate, aspartate, acidic amino acid. Isoleucine, leucine, branched chain amino acids. So all of them has got uniqueness, but histones has got arginine and lysine, basic amino acids. Moving to the next one. Identify the amino acids with more than one chiral center. Now observe this, the normal structure, the general formula of amino acid is this one, amine group and acid group. So this carbon with 4 different groups will be chiral, but 2 chiral centers are present in isoleucine and threonine. If you see the structure of isoleucine, see the R group is a branched chain one. Now isoleucine has got this group. It is made up of isobutyl group. This side chain will be there. R in case of isoleucine is this one, and remaining thing you have amino acid groups are there. Now look at this. This has got 4 different group substitution, but whereas this one has got 4 different groups. This one is ethyl, this one is methyl, this one is completely amino acid part, and this one is hydrogen. So there are 2 chiral centers are there. So this is the structure of isoleucine. Whereas threonine 2 has the same thing. Threonine has got hydroxy containing side chain. So this is what is the side chain of threonine, and then you have amino acid groups at this one. So look at them. This is chiral center. This one is also chiral center. So this is the structure of threonine. So 2 chiral centers are there in isoleucine and threonine. Remaining things are not like that. In fact, glycine is not at all. It doesn't has got a chiral center. If you see the glycine structure, glycine is NH2, CH2, COOH. So no carbon has got 4 different substitutions. It is not at all having chiral center. So only 2 amino acids which has got more than 1 chiral center is isoleucine and threonine. Remember this. Cysteine, serine, cysteine, all of them do not have it. Moving to the next one. Arginine on decarboxylation gives what? Now see, arginine on decarboxylation gives augmentin. Arginine is a basic amino acid. Let me write the structure of this one. See, for all amino acids, you need to remember this. This is the common pattern, and the change is at this, the side group. In case of arginine, it has got a propyl group, and then there is a group called as guanido group. This terminal group with 3 amine groups is known as guanido group. Now, decarboxylation means this carbon dioxide will be removed, and if you remove that, in place of that there is a proton. This is known as augmentin. Now, augmentin has got multiple uses. It is used to treat depression. People take it to treat depression as well as nerve pain, and athletics to improve their performance. This is taken. See, this reaction is reversible reaction. So it can anytime go back and forms arginine 2. Arginine to augmentin and augmentin to arginine is a reversible reaction. So it can go back and form arginine 2. So the decarboxylation product is augmentin, and it is used to treat depression, nerve pain, and increase the performance. Moving to the next one. Now, hydrolysis of peptide involves cleavage of the bond between which atoms? Now you need to understand this one. See, peptide bonds is formed because of this one. The amide bond in amino acids is nothing but peptide bond. So two amino acids, one carboxylic acid group, the other amino acid amine group will combine to give peptide bond. Now peptide bond is very unique. The reasons are, look at this. See, the oxygen has got more electronegativity, so electrons are pulled to oxygen, and these non-bonding electrons will come here. So it results in the formation of a bond like this. Like this. Now look at this. This is what? This bond is a kind of double bond nature, and this peptide bond is strong enough to keep all the proteins intact. That is the reason why all the amino acids combine to give peptide bond, which has got a kind of double bond nature because of this resonance structure. So where do you see the bond? Carbon and nitrogen. So the option is this one. See, nitrogen and C alpha is not that. Look at this. When you see the amino acids, the carbon adjacent to carboxylic acid carbon is alpha, right? Nitrogen and C alpha means here. No, it is not. It will not happen in a single amino acid. Carbon and oxygen, no, you don't have it. Now C alpha and carbon, no, this bond is a single bond. What are you left with? Nitrogen and carbon. This bond is what is peptide bond is. So the option is D. Moving to the next one. Now, short sequence of DNA used for identification of complementary sequence is called a probe DNA. See, this comes in biotechnology. There are a lot of things out there. So probe DNA is the one which has got a complement sequence which is used to identify DNA. Marker is a different thing. This is a DNA sequence with a known physical location on chromosome. So where is this DNA present is denoted. See, physical location present on chromosome. So markers are used to identify where is that particular DNA location is there, where is that particular gene location is there. Now aptamers are single stranded oligonucleotides or peptides. Usually they have complementarity with a peptide, so they will go and combine with a peptide. So they will be combining like a peptide, and they will block the function of peptides, so they act as antagonist. So aptamers are protein antagonists, whereas sequence tag is a short subsequence of complementary DNA sequences. Short sequences are known as sequence tags. But here the answer is a short DNA sequence used to identify complementary sequence is called a probe, DNA probe. Moving to the next one. Now, honey contains the hydrolytic product of, this is important, it contains something called as inulin. In fact, inulin when completely hydrolyzes, it gives highest amount of fructose and some amount of glucose. Because it has got high amount of fructose, you have got this sweetness. Now, there are certain uses are there with inulin. Inulin, it reduces constipation. It is a very good kind of fibrous product. So the fiber will reduce constipation, and it also encourages gut bacteria. When gut bacteria is increased, it helps in digestion. Whereas the other important thing, it reduces triglycerides. So nowadays, inulin supplements are also available. So honey contains hydrolytic product of inulins. The complete hydrolysis of inulin gives high amounts of fructose and glucose. So here the option is inulin. Moving to the next one. Polyunsaturated could be used to describe which of the following fatty acid. Let us understand these fatty acids. Look at them. Palmitic fatty acid is a 16 carbon containing saturated fatty acid. Now stearic 18 carbon containing saturated fatty acid, whereas oleic acid is an unsaturated fatty acid, 18 carbon one with one double bond. Arachidonic acid is polyunsaturated fatty acid. See, oleic acid only one unsaturation is there, so it is called as monounsaturated fatty acid. Arachidonic acid, you have 20 carbons are there with 4 double bonds. So polyunsaturated fatty acid. What is the question about? Polyunsaturated fatty acid is which one? So the answer is arachidonic acid. This is the answer. Moving to the next one. Now, cofactor associated with glutathione peroxide is. See, glutathione peroxide is a very important enzyme which will reduces the amounts of peroxide and radicals. So what it does is it converts all of them to water, oxygen and some kind of alcohols. So this is very essential for cell survival. But in order to perform its function, it needs a cofactor, and the cofactor is selenium. Selenium usually are inorganic ions which will help the enzyme function, are known as cofactors. For glutathione peroxide, it is selenium. Moving to the next one. Now, in hemoglobin, iron bound to. This is a kind of important one. Now, hemoglobin has got 4 heme units are there. Now, each heme unit contains an iron group. That means 4 iron groups are there, and all these 4 iron groups will be combining with 4 oxygens. Now, the question is, to which amino acid this iron is bound? It is bound to histidine. Histidine binds this iron group. So the answer is A, not the other one. So this is what is about hemoglobin. Hemoglobin has got 4 heme components. Each heme component has got 1 iron, so 4 iron ions are there, and each iron combines with oxygen. So each hemoglobin binds with 4 oxygen molecules. Remember this. Moving to the next one. Now, which of the following modification leads to protein degradation? There is a process called as ubiquitin attachment. When this ubiquitin attaches with amino acid, especially lysine fragment, and after this it results in polyubiquitination. That means multiple ubiquitins will combine with this protein, and this results in protein degradation. So what is the answer here? Ubiquitination. Now next one. Ribosome has the following enzymatic activity. Now ribosome has got this peptidyl transferase activity. Now there are certain sites. When you see the ribosome, you have a smaller fragment is there, bigger fragment is there, and inside you have certain sites are there, like P site and A site are there. So what happens is a tRNA comes and it has got an amino acid is there. So amino acid will be like this. Now another new tRNA comes and attaches to this A site with an amino acid. Then these amino acids will come here with the help of peptidyl transferase enzyme, and this amino acid will get attached to this one. So ribosomes as such has got intrinsic peptidyl transferase activity. So the option is A. Moving to the next one. Now DNA without introns. Let us understand, introns are known as non-coding sequences. So when you see DNA, you have coding and non-coding sequences. Coding sequences are known as exons, whereas introns are non-coding sequences. So a DNA without introns, without non-coding sequences is complementary DNA. Now what is bDNA? bDNA is very commonly found motif in all the DNAs. Now bDNA has got right-handed helical structure, whereas ZD-DNA has got left-handed helical structure. All these are DNA patterns. So the most common double helical structure is bDNA with right-handed helicals, whereas zDNA has got left-handed helicals. And the complementary DNA is the one which is without introns, so it has got all the coding sequences. Moving to the next one. If a cell is unable to synthesize or obtain tetrahydrofolic acid, it would probably deficient in the biosynthesis of. Now you need to understand the significance of tetrahydrofolic acid. Now tetrahydrofolic acid is responsible for the synthesis of serine, methionine, thymine, purines and pyrimidines. Now the job of tetrahydrofolic is it will cause a methyl group transferase. It transfers the methyl groups, and serine methionine has got methyl groups which are transferred with the help of tetrahydrofolic acid. So if a cell is unable to synthesize or obtain tetrahydrofolic acid, what happens? It doesn't has got this methionine, because it needs tetrahydrofolic acid to synthesize methionine. If you don't have the tetrahydrofolic acid, methionine will not be there. Moving to the next one. Which of the following sugar does not cause mutarotation? Now see, mutarotation is because of anomers. In mutarotation, alpha anomer is converted to beta anomer, or beta anomer is converted to alpha anomer, and they form a stable combination. And that combination will give a specific optical rotation. So when an isomer has got alpha and beta isomers or anomers, then only it will show mutarotation. Now sucrose is a reduced sugar which cannot show this alpha and beta anomers, so it will not have mutarotation. Whereas lactose, fructose, maltose, they will show mutarotation. Option is sucrose, A. Next one, abzyme. Abzymes are antibodies with catalytic activity. See, don't think that always catalytic activity is there only with enzymes. There are certain antibodies which has got catalytic activity and they are known as abzymes. The word is a combination of antibody plus enzyme. Next one. Now, a characteristic property of stem cell is self-renewal. They will multiply with self-renewal. That is what is the characteristic property of stem cells. Now, metastasis we see with cancerous cell, wherein a cancer cell will form in a prominent mass. After some time, a part of this mass comes out, goes somewhere, and it causes cancer again. Now, terminal senescence means getting old. When cells get old, it is called as senescence. Now, terminal differentiation is final differentiation. So, the stem cells will show this property, self-renewal. So, the answer option is C. To the next one, satellite virus. Now, satellite virus, they cannot replicate by themselves. They depends on other viruses for replication. So, the option is B. Next one, which of the following molecules serve as endotoxins? Now, we need to understand about endotoxins. Endotoxins are a kind of pyrogens and they are components of gram-negative cell wall. Gram-negative cell wall. Especially in the cell wall, they are bacterial lipopolysaccharides. So, the option is endotoxins is C. Now, the last one, which one of the property of myeloma cells is used in hybridoma technology to generate monoclonal antibodies? Now, they should lack an enzyme called HGPRT, hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase. This is a unique character. If they lack this enzyme, then only you will get monoclonal antibodies. If they lack this enzyme, they cannot produce, myeloma cells cannot produce antibodies, so you will get only a monoclonal antibody. So the option is lack of HGPRT. Thank you for watching this video. If you like the video content, do share and subscribe.